You see, first you come up with the plan, and then after that, take over the world and watch them hate.
Good job. I am so proud. Really tough.
You see, first you come up with the plan, and then after that, take over the world and watch them hate.
Good job. I am so proud. Really tough.
All right, welcome to Sunday Stick. Got the three monkeys in studio. What's up, Grant?
What's up, gents? Let's get scrappy.
What's up, Will?
How we doing? I still don't like that we're called the Three Monkeys.
Well, that's your own fault, man. You came up with it.
You're going to deal
No,
with
I did not. I addressed
Yeah, you
that
did.
issue
No,
before
yeah,
this
you-
whole thing started.
You
And
came up with it, man. You came up with it, man. I'm telling you, you came up with it.
I did not.
Almost feel
I'm
like
leaving the
feel like
dust
Rob.
held down.
Feel like when I put these sunglasses on, I feel like I can do a De Niro really well. Yeah, I feel like you can do a pretty good De Niro.
Kind of feel like you should go Arnold.
you
You
look-
look a little bit more like Terminator to me.
What's the guy?
RoboCop.
Fuck.
He also looks like
No.
Oh, RoboCop.
that. Kind of has that vibe
Who
too.
Billy Bob Thornton? What's the Billy Bob Thornton movie that he got the Oscar for that he wrote?
Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about Tater Tot, Sling
Blade. Yeah, you look like
Sling
fucking
Blade.
Sling Blade, dude.
Tots, Tater Tot,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Now you sound
I
like
can see
Napoleon
that.
Dynamite.
Tater Tot. So anyway, so
Look more like
most of our
Corn Fairy
subscribers
Poser
out
to
there
me.
would just Corn Fairy Poser.
Look more
Well,
like
you
a
know-
fairy to me.
You know, I'm trying to pick up some some sponsorship money. Just
Some
saying.
males.
Sponsorship money's good for my travel expenses.
Yeah, where you going?
Probably Fort Lauderdale, something like that. Play some golf down there. Probably ring Tiger Woods' doorbell. Yeah, see if you can come out and play. Yeah, just try.
I'm gonna unsubscribe.
Yes. So, as all of us know, we saw a big drop of shorts out there with some helpful tips to improve some putting as well as some other areas of the game. So I figured, what better than to talk about the putting aspect? Since, to be honest, I got a lot of text messages from my students over the weekend asking about putting lessons. So that actually really inspired me to do those shorts. So I figured it'd be a good topic for us to do for episode 3. Talk about improving our putting. I think Grant wants to talk a couple points on, some gate drill exercises. Will, for yourself as being one of the top students and players in town, having you on board with us. Are you smirking?
That's just, I don't know. That's
Oh,
nice
geez,
of you to
he's-
say. I don't know how accurate that is, but I appreciate you.
he's just so damn modest. He's
Mhm.
Candle in the wind over there. So Will, I mean, it'd be good to hear, some of the things that, we've worked on, how you've been able to implement them, when you, went out to practice and or on the course. So,
Yeah,
I guess go right ahead,
Choose you.
jump into it.
well, I have had a few putting lessons from you, and if I can give any advice to anybody out there, it'd be to go to someone else. He's mean. He yells. Okay.
Dan,
And-
yeah, we're waiting. What else you got?
Basically, I'm just stuck going back to YouTube.
Well, if you guys
I'm
have
just
figured
kidding.
out,
I'm sorry. That was mean. I didn't mean
Yeah.
that. I didn't mean
hey,
that.
it's
I didn't mean
okay.
that.
I'm a tough coach to work with, but I get results from my players. So if anyone has been listening to last week's episode about coaches being yelled at by their players, that's why we're still investigating that. But come on, be honest with yourself. Like, what about some of the things we've worked on that have really helped you out there putting?
I think probably a big thing is, um, once you have your line picking a spot in front of the ball to kind of, like 6 inches or so, maybe even less, to try to roll the ball over. I think that's been a big help. Because for me, my biggest struggle has always been starting online. I feel like I can read, the green decent enough, but I mean, if you're not starting online, who the hell cares how well you read it?
That's true. I mean, that's actually one of the clips in there that got the most amount of views was, something we've closely talked about, which is, looking forward of the ball to minimize watching our putter go back. Right? That's an issue that so many players have, including yourself, is where you just watch your putter head moving back. Like you're trying to focus on what that's doing versus just allowing that natural stroke to happen. So good insight on that. You got anything else, any more you want to share on that?
What I'd like to talk about is why you are so against an aim point, because I did listen to that short of you talking that down. Now, hear me out. If we got most of the tour doing it, how could it be so wrong? I just want to hear your take.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm hating on aim point. For one, it's not most of the tour. It's just a select few out there.
It's everybody.
It's not everybody. But there is a handful of players that are starting to use it. The thing that's great about it is that it's giving players a structure for developing routine for their putts. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree.
Now, when you're working at that level and really focusing on trying to get an edge on the field, I want to try and gain an edge on my competitors I'm playing against so I can earn those checks. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing is that then it makes a lot of sense. But for the average golfer who still doesn't really understand their game on the putting green, adding an element such as aim point can really be more detrimental. They really just got to learn how to first putt. It's kind of like saying, first you got to learn how to doggy paddle. Yeah. Then you can start learning how to do, a breaststroke, backstroke, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. But we first got to learn how to walk. So
that's fair.
I think aim point is great for a more skilled player to get a more organized routine and to get an edge on the field. But when everyone starts doing it, it's no longer an edge. But yeah, I mean, I don't hate aim point. I just think it's not good for the average golfer that we're working with on a daily to start utilizing that before they really start to learn to walk on a putting green, as it were.
I get what you're saying. That makes a lot of sense.
I'd like to get Grant's take on this. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of aim point, but it's one of those that it's a little beyond even what I use or I'd even want to use. But if you get into, trying to get an edge on on the field, I think anything can help. And I don't know that it's necessarily it helps you putt better or swing better, but if you feel like you have an edge, you got more confidence. And as soon as you start getting more confidence, that's where you really start improving, showing your face on the game. So that's where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I agree 100% what you're saying with the confidence aspect. I mean, confidence is everything with this game. But that's the whole piece is, I mean, I guess maybe to bite my tongue and put my foot in my mouth, if there's a player that's really struggling with, let's just say really struggling with their game and they're not getting help with someone like myself, actually working with a coach, and they just fall into aim point and they feel that it's a benefit to their game, yeah, boom, hats off to you. But I will just say, use caution. You got to learn some basics first before something like that can really help you. Because if anyone who's listening, there's two key elements of putting. Get it on your intended line, and then your distance control. If you can't aim and you don't have speed control, it doesn't matter how great you can read the green, because you can't get it on your line and you can't get that distance down. Y'all see what I'm saying?
Bingo.
Absolutely.
All right. So no hate on aim point. Good
That would clear
system.
that up. That would clear that up.
Good system. I just think it has its place based on skill level for the individual playing this game.
I agree.
Yeah, I can agree with that. In terms of putting, what is everyone's favorite drill? Like just a drill, even without a ball per se. Like, what do you, is it feeling the weight in your hands with something like a heavy putter? Is it putting to a dime out there? Gate? I mean, I know you guys talked a little bit about this, but I didn't have quite an input on it, so I thought I'd give my 2 cents. I love the gate at the start, right? So putting through a couple of tees that are maybe 2 balls wide that are 5 inches in front of you, something like that. But I also like this idea that I've been thinking about this all day, right? So 6 inches, we'll just say golf, the hole is about approximately 3 inches across. So if you put out 2 tees 20 feet away that are 6 inches apart, and you just try and make it through that gate, not really thinking too terribly much on where you're starting it or the distance right at the beginning, but just try and make it through that gate. Theoretically, shouldn't you make 50% of those putts if the hole was in between that gate?
Well, I mean, what's the distance again? You said 20 feet.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's 10 feet, 15 foot, 20 foot. I mean, at some point, but at the end of the day, I don't think it matters if your gate is double the size of your hole and your hole sits right in the middle of the gate and you make it through that gate. Theoretically, 50% of the time, it should drop in the hole.
Yeah, I'd say theoretically, I would agree with that. But again, we got to also understand the complexity of the putt itself, right? So if I got to start thinking about how much brake is applied, is there grain? If I can be a complete dick about this, but if it's just a flat level lie and it's not complicated, it doesn't involve a lot of, in a sense, reading and understanding the surface. Yeah, I could see theoretically, if I'm rolling 20 putts that 10 of them would theoretically catch lip and or lip in or go in. So yeah, I mean, I could see it, but we got to also remember the complexity of what is that putt actually calling for. But I mean, I understand the drill.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it.
I think that maybe and again, I was just in my own head about this, but maybe it's more advanced drill, but that becomes a feel portion of the game is really what I was getting at there. Right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Allowing yourself to feel that you're trying to make it in a 6-inch hole, quote unquote, rather than a 3-inch hole. Boost the confidence that you're going to get it in the given area at 50%.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'll tell you right now, you put me out at 10 or 15 feet, I'm not making half of them. Wish I did.
And not even the tour players are going to be running those numbers.
I think, what is it, 8 foot where they're at 50%?
It drops off significantly once you move out of 7 feet. I mean, it drops fast, really fast. But Will, what do you got on this this gate idea that or not idea, but this gate drill that Grant's mentioning right now?
Grant, you said the hole is about 3 inches.
Yeah, we're just calling it 3 inches.
I was just curious how you measured that. Did you lay on the ground next to it? Like, what did you do to, about waist high?
Yeah, I did the spider drill.
There you go. Okay. I was
got all
trying to
the
clear
way
it up.
down onto my knees and looked right at it.
Okay. Just want to clear that up. But no, I'm with you. I kind of like having a little window, start a putt too before the hole for sure. I mean,
yeah. Well, if we want to look at the diameter of, the cup, which is roughly
I'm looking at diameters.
Well, if we look, so basically you think of the diameter of a ball. So typically you could say it's 2 balls. Okay. That could fit perfectly in that cup at 4.25 inches. Okay. So if we want to get really spicy with our numbers, yeah.
I knew I was under measuring my whole life.
Yeah, typically it's an over. It's well, I mean, that's actually kind of funny you say that. So think about how most amateurs struggle with actually under reading their putts, right?
Absolutely. Pro
So,
side and
well, yeah, they tend to kind of roll in a sense of, short and left, short and right. They don't tend to really roll past the cup as often. But I mean, that's one of the other things of the complexity of just being able to read greens. And a very large point that I like to make, not only on this channel but with my students that I teach, is that to really learn how to gain some confidence with your putting stroke is first knowing that your putter is right for you. I'm pretty sure any coach out there would agree with that. Even Tiger Woods sits on the channel. I wouldn't doubt he's saying that, right? He'd say, yes, I agree with that. Then to the point of being able to putt. So your weapon, okay, or your instrument is finely tuned to you, specifically to you, okay? We then got to start looking at, all right, now how do I actually become good at putting, right? Well, I mean, basic aim, is consistent. So if your putter head is properly set for you to aim with, you're going to be good there. But it's just basic distance control drills, And let's say this, Will, what would be as a golfer, working out their game to get to a totally new level? What would you say is your number one go-to for developing your distance control on the putting green?
I'm probably the last person to ask. I suck at putting.
Well, looks like you're going to have to.
I mean, sometimes when you first get out onto a course, what I like to do generally is just putt a ball, just however, just putt a ball anywhere, and then just try to match that speed, match that swing, just kind of replicate it and see how far it's going. Try to hit that other ball rather than go to a hole.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am
Takes a little
not
pressure off.
very
Just kinda-
fond of. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm not too much of a fan of going to a course right before your round of golf and trying to make putts into a hole. I think that plays into what we were talking about earlier in the confidence aspect. You start missing everything on the putting green, and now you're on course. You're like, oh, I'm gonna miss this putt because I didn't make a thing on the putting green. Whereas what you're talking about, Will, you throw a ball out there, putt it out there, and then just try and match that stroke. You're just getting a feel for things.
Right. I mean, and just keep matching that stroke. You see how far the ball's going. You kind of assess in your head, um, what it's going to do. You take a little bit off, put a little more on it.
Yeah.
Good to go.
What about this is before you play around, but what about just going out and practicing? What do you do there, Will? Same thing?
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I'll do it sometimes practicing. I kind of, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not as good about it when I'm actually practicing. I'm usually going to a hole and just trying to read the break as best I can, practice some reads, and um,
Well, if you
that's
don't
probably
mind
something
me,
I should probably incorporate a little bit more into my
well, I would tell
housing.
you, I'll tell you that I know what we're going to be talking when we get done with this podcast is scheduling that putting lesson. And you know what?
I shouldn't
Maybe,
open my
maybe,
mouth.
maybe
This is
for
why I
the
don't want to be honest on this thing.
maybe for the people, we'll do some filming of that putting lesson. We'll do like a before and after. Do
That's
a
fine. Just don't touch me.
little Q&A. Well, I'm gonna have to touch you.
No,
I'm gonna have to. You have to
Not
touch a
going.
lot of things there to get that putting stroke working.
You can touch Grant. Grant's gonna be there. You can touch Grant.
Yeah. Well,
I'm out.
he'll supervise. He'll supervise. So, but yeah. So the thing is that distance control is so big. It's one of the largest problems that you're going to find with amateur golfer out there. Tour players spend so much time on focusing on squareness of face and hitting it on their intended line, but people don't realize when they're watching them on those practice greens, they're trying to focus on consistency of that movement to create centerness of contact on their putter head, squareness of face, as well as the roll. They are focusing on the roll of that putt. They are skilled enough to where they're going to pick up on their speed control pretty quick. Okay. But for the amateur, they're not going to be worrying about speed control. They're going to think that they can figure it out after hole 1, 2, and 3. Now, when you're playing a PGA Tour level golf course, that course is going to be extremely consistent from green to green. Okay, unless it's elevation changes where you're going to get different moisture levels or some wind issues, but pretty much it's going to stay consistent through the entire round for when you tee off. Obviously, it's going to change as the day progresses, later tee times. But for the amateur golfer, those course greens are going to be a little bit softer. They're not going to be as firm, so you're going to get crowning effects. You're going to get cleat marks. You're going to get, let's just say, overall inconsistencies from one hole to the next. So the piece you got to focus on if you're listening to this and you're trying to get better at putting, outside of what we got in our clips for the shorts, is you got to really make sure that you got a putter fitted to you. That's number one. And then once you have that putter fitted to you, then you got to work on speed control. That's it. And then reading greens, I'll tell you, I really employ everybody. Next time you go and play golf, don't read the green, aim to the hole, boom, putt right to that hole and just see what happens. You're going to be more successful in the long run. I promise you that.
Yeah. My green reading starts, 100 yards out. I'm looking at the topography around the green. But when I get on the green, I'm not circling around going absolutely crazy. I know the general idea behind it. And again, yes, I coach and teach golf, and it's not necessarily what I would tell somebody that's trying to make it in the world. But at the end of the day, we're out there to have fun. It ain't about spending 30 minutes trying to read a putt. Just get up there, feel it out a little bit, and let it roll.
Well, one of the famous things is this comes from Mo Norman, Canadian golfer. It holds like 54 course records, and rumor was that every time he broke a course record, it was on the day of his or first time he ever played it. He had like, I don't know, $10,000 cash in his pocket because he was a hustling maniac back in the day. He said, which changed my putting career personally, was he said, everything you need to know about a putt is when you stand right behind it. And I'll tell you what, that I used to be one of those guys that just would go down and count how many grass blades there were. I was obsessed with creating the perfect read. And a lot of the things that I do mention on this channel is it's stuff that I've learned with my personal growth as a player as well as a coach, is that I found things that work better for handicaps that are ranging from 15 to 20 and 10 to 15 and so on and so forth all across the board, including myself in that regard. So the more complicated you make a putting stroke or a read, the less likely you're going to make it, because you're starting to, what's that saying, that analyze saying, God bless America, I can't remember it. It's analysis through paralysis, right? Or paralysis, there it is. Paralysis through analysis. Yeah. That's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to lock up, you're going to get tight, and you're going to miss your putt because you thought about it too much. I mean, how many of us can raise our hands and say, when you go up to that 2-footer and you're like, oh, whatever, and you just one-handed or you backhand it in, it just goes right in, and you pretty much make it 90% of the time when you do that? It's because you're not trying. You're not overthinking it.
Yeah, because it's usually for double bogey, and you don't care. You've given up.
But that's the point, to use that type of don't create the paralysis through analysis format by creating, so much complexity on reading a green. I mean,
just think about that, right? The complexity of the green. The more complex the green is, the harder it is to make a putt. The easier the green is, the more complex you make it, the harder it is to make that putt. Just get up there and feel it out. Let it go.
Get up there. I mean, I would say maybe something I'll do is maybe test the theory that just ran through my head is there's some people out there that say like no practice swings, just get up and hit the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe we test that in a putting formula. Get a control group. Try to find a particular handicap level and just see what we can get percentage wise. If anyone's interested in that's in Austin that would like to do that, contact us through the comments. DM
Yeah.
us for sure, and we can put you on that list, and maybe we'll make that happen and make a video on it. So, but I mean, there's a lot of gurus out there when it comes to putting. There's no doubt. I've learned a lot myself from a lot of people that I was mentored by as a player, as well as becoming a coach over 20 years ago. But biggest thing is get fitted. I used to be a non-believer with that stuff, and Grant knows that. I remember when I went through some training, I was like, it's all BS. It's all about feel. It's all about understanding it one way or another. And then once I started finding how important it was to find a putter that fit my vision for aiming, it made a huge difference. I mean, I never aimed better. And I think about if I would have known that, say 25 years ago or something like that. And I
Y'all
had a
ever
putter.
mess around with pausing when you take the putter back?
Never. Why would you do
Never.
that? Why would you do that?
They say it helps with
That
tempo,
shit crazy.
and it kind of does. I
Well,
don't
the
know. I
thing-
was watching
Will.
TV the other day. They said Scottie was doing it, so I went and tried it, and it kind of helps. I mean, you don't blow them by as much. If anything, they may be like a hair short, but I mean, shit, you can work on that.
Well, the thing is about anything like that is, you
I liked
got
it. You know, screw
Yeah.
y'all. I liked it.
Okay. So
I liked
here's
what
the thing.
Scottie liked it. I liked it. It's good
So-
for us.
So here's the thing. Right. If you're doing something like that where you're going to pause it, and let's say you're doing it at 5 feet. All right. The question is how many putts did you do? Okay. With that condition. How
What?
many putts? How many putts did you do with that
What,
pause?
while pausing?
Yeah.
Well, I just take it one putt at a time, Derek.
Well, we
The
need
way
a
I live my
sample.
life.
Yeah. We got it.
I cannot wait to watch
we
this
have-
putting lesson.
It's
It's gonna be so epic.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
It's gonna
good.
be so good.
So the question is sample size, right? Right.
Same.
So
Okay.
you got to do it enough times. You got to run it for a cycle. You gotta play enough rounds doing it and see if it actually makes any difference.
Oh, I haven't done this playing.
Yeah.
I think this is
So-
a practice drill
Okay.
just
So
for tempo.
yeah, we're gonna be doing a pretty hardcore putting lesson. I got a few students that are gonna be
tempo-
doing putting lessons this week.
Tempo is not only a backswing but a downswing, but it's a combination of the two. So if you pause right in the middle, how's that helping with your tempo? Like your
So-
transitional tempo? Like I'm kind of confused here, Will. I just need some
I'm not a scientist.
clarification.
I don't know.
Well, you're adhering
I'm just
to
telling
the,
you how
the
it made
drill,
me
so I want to
feel.
know.
Okay, I'm just telling you how it made me feel. Okay, I don't
Oh,
know the
you
numbers
heard-
behind it.
You heard Scotty get it, and you got all
Yeah,
shoved
and that
out
made
and
me
decided
feel
you
all
were
warm
gonna
and
do it.
fuzzy inside. I was like, Scotty likes this. I like this. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so given that feel is a very, very big part of golf, how
Oh yeah, the
did
number
it
one
make you
golfer
feel?
does it. Excuse me, number one golfer in the world.
Scott,
My bad.
How good is he at putting? I'm just curious.
He's not good. That's why he's pausing the backswing.
Scotty Scheffler is doing it because he's struggling with putting, and he is trying to get it ramped up before the players, where he'll be, what is it? He won last year. What's that?
favorite? The
He's gonna
favorite?
be- yeah,
Listen,
he's
he's a
gonna be
good man,
defending.
good father. Y'all be kind, okay? Y'all be kind.
He's a good man. I'll give you that.
Very good, man. I like him a lot.
All right, easy, Grant.
Wow.
Shit.
But he's going to be defending that title as well as the Masters. He's trying to get ramped up in time. Those are majors are, those are feathers in the caps that all the best players in the world in the history of this game want. The more you have, the more you solidify your legacy in the history of the game.
Speaking of, I mean, how we feeling about Jordan? We think he makes a
About
run this year after this hand surgery. I mean, what is that? 2 top 10s in like 4 tournaments is what I saw. Homeboy's getting back into it.
I love Jordan to death, but I'll tell you what, I don't see him being um, a Scottie Scheffler. Not that I'm not gonna lie, there's not gonna be another Scottie for a while, in my opinion. But it's kind of like the Tiger dominance, not the same kind of.
yeah, no one's ever.
I
That's
think
that's
he could pull one out of his ass. You know,
that's a once in a
Yeah, sure.
generation guy right there.
Absolutely.
With Tiger is what I'm referring to.
I know.
But with Jordan, I mean, he came out hot, and honestly,
Confident.
I don't want to hate on Jordan, but I still just believe that his release technique with his lead arm, if he'd change that, he'd improve. He'd get good quick. But I mean, he's used it so long, and I mean, Grant, I've said that a million times over since he's come on tour that I just believe if he stops that left arm break, he'd get real good with that driver because that driver gives him fits more than anything. He struggles off the tee. That's how it's always looked to me.
kind of rhyme there.
What's that?
Said he kind of rhymed there.
Yeah,
Well, Dr.
You know.
Poet and he doesn't know it. What?
So check this out. So I just looked it up because I want to have a little fun looking at Scottie Scheffler. So back in March of 24, last year, there's all this news of Scottie Scheffler working on his putting. Are there issues? Are we worried? He was doing his chopstick drill, his coin drill. He's working on his tempo. So all it is, like I always tell you, poor players, they're like baseball players, superstitious. They try different things to get feels, just like any one of us, really. Trying to find something. The best in the world are no different than the people that are running around town playing all the local courses. Everyone's trying to find how to get better, right? And to get an edge on their group or for their upcoming event, or your tour player trying to win another players and or a Masters in the next couple months here. But let's say this. Is there any superstitious things that you guys have ever gravitated onto or held as a player or someone just out there goofing around? Is there anything you've ever thought to be superstitious when you played?
I try not to be.
No, not for me.
Yeah.
Not ever been. Not
So no,
superstitious. That is not what I would call it.
so not pink sock, blue sock if you knew you were playing the tournament, or make sure you do a certain thing, eat a certain food.
No, because
Hey,
like, what if that falls through? Then you're like immediately fucked in your head. Like, why would you rely so hard on something that is not, that's not a guarantee?
So what this is telling
Shit
me,
happens.
I'm superstitious about eating on the turn. How about that?
oh, that's a good one actually.
I
There are a
won't eat
lot
on
of
the
people.
turn.
There's a lot of people. I mean, there's plenty of stories of guys on a run on the tour, then they go and they hit the urinal and they unload the old ladder bag and get up on the tee, and all of a sudden they can't hit the ball anymore.
I have felt that. I've also felt like Grant saying after having a sandwich at the turn, something just happened. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a blood pressure thing. I don't know if it's because I gained a little weight, in that 5 seconds eating that sandwich. I got a little more power on me. I'm swinging a little faster. I don't know what it is.
I think it boils down to the same thing. Food makes you feel good. Taking the leak makes you feel good. And then you get on T-Box and you're like, I'm playing good. I feel good. This is going to be great. And then you expect more. Bam. Done.
So expectations change. They go
I
up and
don't
they
know.
go down.
I don't even know what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
This is a
yeah,
rabbit hole here that I could
that's a
go
rabbit
down.
hole right there. But yeah, so I would say, like, if we were to wrap up and all three of us were say, your number one thing to tell anyone listening what they should try to do to improve their putting game, what would that be? Grant, I'll let you go
YouTube
first
golf.
on that.
Watch it, follow it, join in.
YouTube golf.
100,
All right.
100%
That's where everybody
see
should
it.
go to
All right.
learn, I think.
And if that
Yeah.
100% see a coach, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got Will. It's subscribe to YouTube. Watch out for Coach Derek because he's a meanie. Grant's got us all set on finding a good coach. Doesn't matter if it's us here in Austin or just anywhere you're at. But what I would tell anyone is definitely work to try and get better, regardless. If it is YouTube, a book, go see a coach. Just have a plan. Don't just jump from one ship to another expecting to get better. You gotta get a big enough sample size on anything that you're using. Kind of over to Will. He's doing the Scottie Cameron thing, or Scottie Cameron.
Everybody
Scottie
pause in
Scheffler.
your backswing.
Everybody pause in their backswing. I'll tell you what, it's
With the
gonna work.
putt. With the putt.
With putt. With putt.
I'm just saying, me and the number one golfer in the world do it.
Yeah, number one golfer in the world. But I mean, to everyone, you heard me say it earlier in the episode. Probably said it more than that, and it's in the shorts for putting improvement. Get fitted for a putter.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that
get fitted for a
me
putter.
and the number one golfer in the world both do that, and we both suck at putting. That was kind of interesting. I just now thought about that.
Yeah, so that's why these guys
Maybe don't do that.
Now, here's the thing. I mean,
Maybe
Scottie and Jordan, they got UT ties. It's right in our backyard. I mean, if they really need some help, come knock on my door. I'd gladly help them. I mean, when the tour event was in here, me and Grant would help whoever needed help. Plenty of those guys snuck through our doors without anyone knowing, asking for bending clubs or checking out anything. So,
Yep.
We're unsung heroes here in Austin. So, anyone looking for some help, we're here for it. And that's the biggest thing for anyone listening. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We'll gladly have open conversations on any good topics that are thrown into our comments. I know Will will be handling that moving forward.
Excuse me? What am I doing? What was that?
Making sure you're listening. Just making sure you're listening. All right. Well, from us here at Sunday Stick, this episode was fun. Kept it pretty simple to just talking about putting, a couple little knick-knack things here and there. But, keep the comments coming. Let us know what you want us to talk about. We'll gladly reach out to anyone who's interested in getting help with finding a coach and or working on their putting game. And we'll catch everyone next episode. So enjoy your week.